Hey everyone, this is Andrew, and in this video I'm going to show you how to write a metal song from scratch. I don't have any ideas pre-written. I'm just going to kind of make everything up as we go. So in my last video like this, I went over a heavier kind of modern, djenty metal sound. In this video, I still tend to do metal, so I'm going to stick with metal in this. However, I don't want to have just a crushing, low, djenty kind of rhythmic thing. I want to make more... I want to make something more melodic. So I don't exactly know what it's going to be. That's kind of the idea, but I'm just going to go for it, and we're going to see what we get, and that's the whole purpose of this video. So following what I did last time, I'm going to add a new software instrument. Get rid of it. I'm going to go to my Superior drummer. Here I'm just getting it set up to how I usually like my settings. Create a new MIDI track. Get it to the loop. And now I have zero ideas. So one way that I kind of inspire myself sometimes is I'll just set a tempo, get my click on, just hit go. Sometimes I'll just start playing, sometimes I'll just think, move the tempos around, see if I have any ideas. Alright, so I do have an idea. And again, for the purpose of this video, I'm doing everything a little faster than I usually would. Usually I would just kind of loop things for a while, experiment, get something I like, and spend a lot of time on it before I actually, get something that I would call done. And then I would end up recording. But for the purpose of this video, I don't want to have this video be like an hour or two long, so I'm going to kind of speed it up a bit. But with that said, I do have an idea, and we're going to take some amount of time on it. So I'm loading up my favorite delay plugin, HDelay. I'm going to go to quarter note. It doesn't have to be quarter note, but that's what I'm going to try. Actually, maybe to spice it up, we'll go to this kind of thing. Just turn on the track. Oh. When you first load this plugin, it gets a little screwy. It's too slow. Do eighth note dotted. Alright, so when you do kind of a dotted eighth note thing, that means that you're kind of hitting in between some of these actual beats, which could be good, could be bad, you don't really know. So just to start off, I'm going to add a typical kind of 4/4 groove. Most of the time when I get some kind of groove like this, it ends up changing. It's really just for writing purposes. Also, generally, I'm writing music with a drummer, so literally all of it will get thrown away. Sometimes they'll keep something if I really liked it or if they really liked it, but in general, it just kind of gets tossed. So. Alright, so I'm kind of liking that. So I'm just going to kind of record an idea and roll with it. Now I'm going to double this because I do see a kind of possibility where I could make it this kind of A and B type section. So it's the same riff, but I'm going to shift the notes to the second iteration as I go through. Alright, so I like that. Alright, so I don't have an idea for a second layer yet, but I'm just going to kind of get my track ready because I know there will be some kind of layer. I'm going to try to shy away from just doing some kind of low rhythmic thing, because that's what we did in the last video. So I want to try to make some kind of more harmonious thing, if you know what I mean. Some kind of more melodic relation to that first riff, where I guess I'm playing in the key of C major. Although I haven't fully established a key, but it's pretty much in C major, so I need to kind of stick with that. So I'm just gonna put this on. I'm gonna play through. I'm gonna get some random ideas and see where it goes. For my purposes, this might not show through in the video. I'm gonna pan things left and right, and that'll make it easier to hear what I'm actually doing. Especially if I'm playing in the same range, things can get a little muddy. So my H delay settings are the same, and I'm just gonna go for it. Alright, I actually kind of like that, so I'm going to go for it. Alright, and this one ended up being that long, so I'm just going to duplicate it. Turn on my fading tool, crossfade this, and oh, I'm at the stage where I need to name it, so I'm just going to kind of call this Metal Song Video 2 2016. Alright, so I'm actually really liking this. So I'm going to go and get some bass drum in here. I don't know what it'll be. I'll just program something kind of, I guess, typical. And it's a little too boring. Alright. And again, this is all just trial and error. I'm clicking notes, giving them to play, see how I like it, and then going from there. So I think I like this pattern. I'm going to copy it. Alright, so I'm going to have that go again here, except I'm going to tweak it a little bit. So the idea is when you're writing stuff, if you're copying something direct, it's a little boring if you just keep it exactly the same. So I try to tweak stuff if I can. Let me do this. Alright, so that's the idea I'm going to roll with for now, just to move on. Usually I would just keep going for however long until I get something I was happy with. So generally, a good way to inspire yourself for another section is you already have this rhythmic theme. And usually in a song, you kind of want everything to be based off of everything else in the song in some way. Otherwise, it'll just sound chaotic. And sometimes it's good. Sometimes you want a section to sound nothing like it's before. But in this particular example, I do. So I'm going to probably want one of my layers to stay constant. It doesn't have to, but I'm going to go with, I think, the lower rhythmic one. So that's the, turn on my sound here, that's the, that thing. I do have an octave down, so I could do that an octave down. So I'm going to make another setting, or another track, so I can get one of these without the delay on it. And I'm going to go to my channel strip setting of basic rhythms, and this is going to be, I probably could have left that at the left side, but I'm going to create another side. Go here, And this is where my low guitar is going to kick in. It's not going to be as genty as the other song we did, but it's going to be a low 8-string kind of idea. And I'm just going to go for it. Alright, so I ended up liking what I did for the second half better. I'm going to copy that, move it over. Then I'm going to do it again. And I screwed up. Alright, so at the very end I went down an octave lower for those last 2 notes to kind of give it some depth, I guess. I'm just going to duplicate this for now, because I want to add some kind of layer to go on top of this. So I already have this delay setting. I'm going to try to use it. Sometimes you'll have to make a new track, but I try to avoid it if I can. These guitars are too loud, as in the last song we did, so I'm going to turn them out to -10. And these ones are probably going to be too loud compared to the drums, so I'm just going to turn them down a little bit. Go in my mastering channel, get my waves, put on my ultra maximizer just so everything's kind of a louder volume without me having to turn up the actual knob on my audio interface. Alright, so I like that. So I'm going to go on here, and I want to base it somewhat off of this, but somehow different. Obviously, that's kind of the theme of everything. Trial and error, make things follow a theme, but we're just going to go and see where we get. So I'm going to hit play, and I'm just going to start playing. I already know that I feel like I might use another track later, so I'm going to copy it now. And I'm not going to record yet. Alright, so I have an idea that I think I can work with. I'm going to try to turn this melody thing into some kind of tapping riff. And I'm just going to kind of loop it. I'm going to get an overlay video so that I can actually show you how I mess around until I actually get it. So, here we go. Alright, so now that we have that section, I want to make the next section a built-up version of that section. So I don't know if you noticed, but I literally didn't touch the drums in that section at all. I'm not really worried about it. Usually my drummer would tweak them anyways. So this section I want to be more driving. So just by default, I'm going to change some of these bass drums from what they are, just to make them a little more chaotic. This one needs to be there. So, I do have this idea, and I want to base the rhythms off of that idea, and I want to have this, I think, be the same. We'll see how it goes. And I want to make this rhythm just a lot more open, a lot more, have it ring out a lot more and have it be louder essentially. And then for these cymbals, now what I might do is I might mess with the volume of the cymbals, have them be quieter in this section, that they appear louder in this section, or just switch cymbals depending on how it goes. So I'm just going to give it a track and just mess around with some stuff and see how it goes. Alright, do it again. Alright, so I screwed up in the first half, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this and copy it. And do some crossfades. This one's a little big. I need to zoom in. Sometimes when you do the crossfade like this, it'll fade it off center, which will make it sound a little weird. Might even get some clipping. It's more important to get the fade center than this to actually have it be small, but I like to try to get both. So let's see how this whole section flows together. So I think I want to make the bass drum follow the guitar a little bit more to accent which notes I'm playing. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to delete this from scratch. So I'm doing kind of like a da 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 da. And I think I'm just doing this over and over again with different notes. So I'm going to try this and see how it goes. And the 4 vibe is kind of slow sounding to me. So I'm going to try doing a 2-4 vibe, which I can accomplish easily by doing that, deleting the second half and pasting. Alright, so in the last video we did like this. I tried a triplet thing, and I'm going to try it here too. It might work, it might not, but at least if it doesn't, you'll get to hear what it sounds like if it doesn't work. So in the last video it kind of did. So that will be it. And that sounds pretty bad, I think. But I'm going to try adding some hi-hat hits in there just to see how it sounds. Maybe it'll make it sound better. I don't think it will. Yeah, it's just a little too chaotic, so I'm not actually going to bother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this new drum section that I made, put it in here, and in this section I'm just going to fill in the blank bass notes to give it a more constant feel. Now you see the length of this note shifted. It doesn't actually matter because these are drum hits, so the sustain has no relevance on the actual MIDI note. So let's see how this whole thing transitions. Actually, first I want to mess around with the actual volumes of these. So in here, I definitely want the cymbals to be quieter than they will be in the next section. Same with these. And then in here, overall, these cymbals are just too loud. The whole song, they're a little too loud. When they're being hit this hard, it kind of sounds a little unnatural because you're crushing them, so to speak, or the drummer who recorded them is like hitting them as hard as he can. So that might be good. I could also try making these hi-hats, but we'll try this for now. think I'm going to have to make a new track for this lead thing here. I'm going to move all of them onto it because I do want it to be dead center, and I want it to sound different in the mix from what the last one was. So since this is a tapping part, I think it's going to be critical that I actually do have some kind of compressor on it. So I'm going to go Renaissance Axe, which again is included in that Waves Gold bundle. I'm going to solo it, and I'm just going to throw on a default preset and just do medium, I guess, and then I'll mess with it from there. Sometimes it happens. So I'm not the best at hearing how compressors actually change the sound of things. Usually, rule of thumb for me is if there's random hits that are too loud, or you want to get a more uniform volume, you throw a compressor in there. Now, as far as to actually use the settings, the threshold controls the volume at which the limiter hits, and the attack controls how fast it hits. Now, this is made for guitars, so it's a little simplified. Usually there's release, hold, ratio values, but this is just for guitars, so they kind of set it all for you. So I usually try to aim somewhere between 3 and 6 dBs of compression, and then for the attack, generally for rhythms, because you want more attack, as in you want to hear the pick hitting the string in a certain way, so I'll make the attack like 30s or something. For a lead part, you kind of want to smooth out the attack, so I'll make it less, so that way the compressor kicks in faster and you get less of the attack of the actual note. And then I do have my delay on here already. I'm going to add a reverb, and then I'm going to add a limiter. Now the reason I'm adding a limiter is because, just like I said before, with the compressor you want to squash the sound a little bit. With the limiter, it's going to basically bring the volume, so that I'm bad at explaining it, but it's going to kind of bring the volume up of everything up to a certain limit, basically. And anything over that is just going to squash. You can look up the exact ways that limiters work online. You can probably find a much better description of that than I can just give, but I'll just kind of use it, and you can see how I use it. Alright, so now we have a very uniform volume here. Now if I actually play it, and look over here as I click, you'll actually see how uniform the volume is. It's almost a constant negative 7.5 decibels. If I turn this off, it's pretty constant, but it's less constant, and it's also lower. Now if I do the same thing with the compressor off, it's even more varied. So this kind of squashes the loud peaks, and that brings everything up in general. And then the last thing I'm going to add, I think a lot of after the limiter, I've never really figured out where to add this, is a spreader, because I like how it sounds. Oh, usually I would experiment much more with this, as in I could come in here and not only could I add a spreader, I can go to my waves, and I can go to my doubler, and I can show you how that sounds real quick. For some reason it won't let me drag this. There we go. So I'll turn this off so you can hear what it sounds like just with the doubler. I'll just put on a basic one. It actually does sound cool. I'm going to try running both of these, just to, because why not, just for the purpose of this video. Alright, now let's listen to this whole section. Alright, so I'm kind of liking how that sounds. Now if I wanted to, usually I wouldn't want to drive on a part like this too long, as in it's been building up for a good, I don't know how long. So this part started 34 sections, and it's been building up for over 30 seconds, and usually people just kind of want to hear some kind of ending. So usually I would transition to some kind of soft part, I guess, or I would transition to an even louder part and keep building, or go back. Depends if you want to do like a verse chorus type structure or whatever. It depends on what kind of song you want to write. For this, I think I will try doing some kind of slow section, because I've never actually tried that for you. However, for this video, since I'm racking up the time, I'm gonna call it quits here. And in the next video, I'm gonna go over how I write the soft section for this actual song. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like, leave me a comment if you have any questions. Subscribe if you want more, because I am going to be doing that video on the soft section for this. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Here's the clip at the end of the song, so you can actually hear the semi-final version of the sections we've gotten so far. All right, thanks. Bye.